What's going on, guys? Sync-WaVey back again with some more GBO2, and today we're going to be showcasing the Rider ground heavy arms in Todd Schroeder colors. So yeah, I mentioned that the Rider is one of my favorite suits. Like basically, when I say Rider, I'm talking about the whole lineage of the Riders. You know what I mean? The design of the Rider is just super edgy, man. And obviously Todd Schroeder is going to be pretty sick because I don't know if it's true, but I might as well talk about it now as everybody else talking about it. There's obviously been a few leaks, and Todd Schroeder is actually one of them. So when I saw that, I was like, get my Rider out and make it look like the Todd Schroeder. But yeah, that thing is literally going to be disgusting when if it comes out, if the leaks are actually true, like, and not like fake or whatever. But yeah, enough about that though. Let's talk about what we did today in the clan matches. We made it to top 100. I think we came 79th or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, we've been getting top 100s pretty consistently. So yeah, we got the new suit, the Desert Zaku. What's it? The Desert Zaku, the support. I can't remember what exactly the rest of it's called, but it's got some interesting weapons for sure. Like I will be showcasing it soon, probably tomorrow, maybe. Thing is pretty cool actually. It's capable of using the Magellotop, the Zaku bazooka, Zaku machine gun, and the long barrel that shoots triple shot. So yeah, this is pretty good. I was playing it with the rest of my clan. It's pretty decent, man. Like it's got waist missiles that actually heavy stagger. Basically, once you heavy stagger something, like you pretty much, you're gonna wreck them. Like with that suit, it's you can get its range up pretty high. It's pretty ridiculous actually. How high you can get it. You can get like 52, and that's like without the enhancements. So obviously you should be able to get it a little bit higher than 52. I straight away max enhanced mine because it was like a 1-star, so it was pretty easy to get fully maxed. Yeah, the suit is pretty cool, man. Pretty decent for a support. You're probably gonna see it quite often because it just has that firepower. You can heavy stagger something. You got the wrist missiles to that obviously stuns in like 4 or 3 hits, which is obviously a good follow up. Like I said, it can use a bazooka, so you can just hang with the generals and be like a mid-range support. It's very good. I will be showcasing it soon. Like I said, probably tomorrow. But yeah, other things I want to talk about is like XS. We in the clan matches we rarely saw XS. Like rarely. Our team used it twice, and it wasn't. It was doing decent, but it wasn't like nothing spectacular to be like, yeah, we should run multiple of these. When we was fighting the stronger teams, they literally had no excesses on their team, and they are obviously they've come to the same conclusion that I have, and it's not as good as in space and like it is on ground, because like most of his attacks are easy to dodge in space, you know. The majority of the time we're still seeing Qbli, so yeah, like I said, like I said to you, Aqua Vengeance, like well, I know him as Dongo, but everybody knows him as Aqua Vengeance. His channel's Aqua Vengeance. I basically was saying to him that even suits like Dove and Wolf, Zeta and Double Zeta, like they trash the excess. Like it, as long as you stun the suit and you get in close, it's literally a wrap for excess. Excess actually is more of a support than it is like a frontline general. It's more like backline. It plays more like a support, like with a dodge roll, and it's like fast and huge. Like I've seen people do really good with it when they actually playing an actual team comp that is mixed. They playing it from range the whole time, pretty much. Like once like the numbers of the team is dwindled a bit, then like they go in for like do a bit of melee, but the melee is definitely not the priority of that suit. The priority is just pure like abusing your shooting mechanics. Like, and obviously it's got really good shooting mechanics. Like it's obviously like in terms of shooting, it is better than the double Zeta. Like because obviously the weapons that it has, the incoms and all that, it can keep basically shooting more than a double Zeta. The double Zeta is more on the simplistic side compared to the excess. So excess is actually a harder suit to use, and when you play with a harder suit to use against suits that are easier to use and much more streamlined, the streamlined suit like most of the time does better, right? The Doberman Wolf is kind of like is kind of streamlined compared, because you know it's got capabilities of closing the distance, heavy stagger, not heavy stagger, closing the distance with the chest beam gun and really getting in close and going into melee if it has to without being stunned by the excess, and also not being stunned in general from even long range. So, like I said in Donga's video or Acrovengeance video, is basically there's counterplay with the suits. So excess in some cases might seem good against the Qbli, like at first, but just give it some time. You're gonna eventually see that you know the Qbli is still like the best suit, right? Like there is a bit of counterplay that you know the follow funnels most of the time hit the eye field of the excess, so you know you're basically kind of negating some of the damage that you know the Qbli can do. Also 100k with the Pale Rider, bro. Like that's pretty lit.
Damage, bro.
So yeah, the Qbli, you know, it's still got insta-stun beam rifle. So as long as you stun it, and obviously you don't shoot it in the center of the body, like you get in close, you go to melee, you do the the normal combo for Qbli, and you know you're pretty much going to kill the excess pretty fast, you know. But as the excess at range is, you know, it's got a good matchup against the Qbli from range, right? From a decent range. So it's kind of like hard to say, you know. Um, well, it's not really hard to say. It's just like the range battle should be more in the favor of excess because it's got an easier time to hit it's got an easier time to hit a QBD. And like on the other hand, QBD can do good against Dovens because Dovens don't have dodge roll, right? And it has damage control, so it can actually. You have to completely empty the chest beam guns into them. So you have to make it hit 2 times, or otherwise you're not stunning the QBD, right? But on the other hand, a Doven Wolf has really good time against excess. Do you know what I'm saying? And obviously, the QBD can. Like obviously, the QBD gets in close on the excess. Like it's pretty much trouble for the excess. But what I'm seeing is there's like a little bit of counterplay with these suits. Like double Zeta gets in close against XS, it's gonna get wrecked. But the XS keeps the double Zeta at range, which is pretty hard since the double Zeta has maneuver armor. But you have to do like triple shots, uncharged shots, like into Vulcans or into like your waist beam gun to try and stop a double Zeta from advancing on you. But that's literally like if the XS was like had a weapon, like say the XS is uncharged shots, that triple shot was more like how it is in its transformation, where it basically stuns as long as you hit all three of the shots, or 4. I can't remember how many it shoots. But basically, you get that uncharged shot when you're transformed, it will stun the suit. If it was like that in mobile suit mode, it would be 10 times better. Just with that little factor, because why? You'd be able to break maneuver a lot faster without swapping weapons. You'd be able to break shot dampeners faster, and obviously shot dampeners, like with damage control, you probably still would need to maybe shoot 2 bursts or switch weapons into Vulcans or something to like get stunned, but it would be slightly easier against those suits to actually break their shot dampeners plus with the damage control. So yeah, that's literally what it's lacking. It's lacking any type of mid-range game. I mean, close-range game. Sorry. The only thing that's got going for it in the close range is basically it's got pretty decent Vulcans, and a decent it does have decent melee. Like even though the melee is low, that base damage of 2,500 is pretty good, right? So if you do hit like Dovens and stuff like that, even double Zetas that don't run melee resistance, because I actually don't run melee resistance on my double Zeta. Like you will hit these suits pretty hard if you can actually get your stun off and actually do a downswing. But that's not what his strength is. His strength is like staying at bay, and just using the amount of firepower that it has to actually do most of your damage. It's basically like a long range Doven Wolf without shot dampeners. Like it's a pure range Doven Wolf. So if there's no going in with excess, like how a Doven Wolf goes in, because Doven Wolf just goes in and ignores your stuns and then just smacks you with the chest beam gun, you're stunned, it downswings you, and like proceeds to. I mean, you've seen the footage of me and my Doven, like the combo that you do for Doven, like it's so damaging. Like, yeah, not the excess doesn't have like something like that to actually stop suits that like pursue him as easy as the Dome Wolf. You know, it's a touch of a button and you stun something. Like with excess, it's a little bit more harder. So you got basically it's a higher skill gap. You know, you have to accumulate your stuns with excess. When they have maneuver arm and stuff like that. But other than that, the excess does decently well. Like, to say it's better than any of these suits that I've been mentioning is kind of like not accurate at all. Like, because those suits actually do a lot of damage in close range, right? Especially with like most of the suits having low melee resistance at higher costs, which is interesting how they've implemented this. Honestly, if they buffed the smart beam gun so it has like ASL when it has Alice equipped, Alice activates like ASL, and they buff the triple shot so it actually stuns just as fast as it stuns in the G Cruiser form. Then we're looking at a suit that can break maneuver armor pretty quickly, and you know it'll be able to keep suits at bay like a lot easier than what it can currently. They can do it, but it's just a lot harder. You like you have to switch weapons and all this type of stuff, and with suits with damage control, like you have to do a little bit more, and it's like pretty hard to start stunning the suits that have higher damage control. Like even damage control 1 will basically require you to shoot a couple more times, and which in some cases that may allow the suit that you're shooting to get close to you and, you know, like a Doven, and then start wrecking you basically. So there's a lot of counterplay going on with these suits. Like the long range game for excess is the key to success with that suit against the other suits I'm talking about, like Double Zeta, Q-Blade, Doven,
100k damage.
You know, like even Tristan, like those suits can like mess you up, you know. So yeah, it's good, and you know, Double Zeta still needs a transformation because that's like it's part of his identity, but it doesn't make it. It won't make it any better than what it already is. It will just help it in certain situations, but it still will be as good as it is right now. So what I would say to you guys is, yeah, don't sleep on the Double Zeta. Don't think because you're XS that you're better than the Double Zeta, because you're I mean, you might be better in the long range, but if you allow that hyper beam saber to touch you, it's a wrap for you. Like it's a wrap. Like I said, there was literally barely any excesses in climaxes today in space. So it goes to show you that it's not as top tier as you think it is. Like, I mean, it's amazing against itself. Like with the video that I uploaded, I was fighting a bunch of excesses, right? And they all have low melee resistance, and I was just playing how I usually play. I play aggressive. But in actual practice and against other suits that are just better in melee than you, it's not a good choice to go in like how I was going in. You know, it's not that type of suit. It's definitely a hang back suit. I have done good with it against other suits, but you literally need to be careful. It's like, you know how you gotta be careful with Doven Wolf. You gotta be even more careful with excess, because if you get stunned, you get stunned, and they get in close, you're pretty much wrecked. You know, Doven Wolf doesn't really have that problem of being stunned repeatedly, you know, because, you know, shot dampeners, damage control, stuff like that. So, yeah, yeah, don't sleep on the other suits. Like, when you're fighting, when you're using your excess, like, show some respect to, like, Double Zeta and, you know, Cubely still a monster. You know, Tristan will still beam shot you and then Gatling you and stun you and, like, pretty much wreck your HP with its massive amounts of melee damage too. Cubely Mark 2 is definitely, like, even though it's a raid, that thing still wipes you out. Like, I was pretty much wiping X. If there's any excess in space, like, I'll literally wipe them out in like couple of hits. Like, it's no joke. So it's it's a general, so it counters Cubely, but at range, if the Cubely Mark II gets in close, you're basically going to be countered. Like, it's a counter to you because the melee is so ridiculous. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I mean, eventually, you guys, you'll play it more and you will see what I'm talking about is actually true. So, and the fact that we didn't see it much in space climaxes today. So yeah, that is my long video today. Make sure you get to this point, because there's a lot of information that you need to hear. So, you know, you don't go in and play excess and thinking, yeah, I'm the best suit in the game. It really isn't. But yeah, that is the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. God bless.
Yeah.